Scott, you know the walk-on tradition here at the University of Nebraska. What's your message to the young men who are in high school right now, sophomores, juniors, and those seniors who will be graduating? What's your message for them for the walk-on tradition?
That's one of the things I talked to Bill about and Coach Osborne about. When we were here, we had a lot of players, and a lot of players were working hard at practice, and nobody was sitting on a knee. This place needs that. I'm looking forward to trying to grow the walk-on program and make it what it was before. There's going to be some sacrifices that have to be made probably to get it there. But when you have a bunch of kids from the state of Nebraska that are in this program, those are the type of players that would bleed for this place and are going to work hard to make this work. Guys that are really pulling for Nebraska. And when I was growing up, every kid in the state of Nebraska dreamed about running out here on this stadium, on this field, wearing a red N on their helmet. There's too many kids from this state right now playing at other schools, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that those kids are here.
From the first day Scott Frost arrived to take the helm of the Nebraska football program, one of his goals has been to bring back the walk-on program. One of the reasons Nebraska football was so dominant in the 1990s. Another one of his goals has been to increase the size of the football roster to 150 players. While both of those goals lead to more depth on the roster, they also mean more redshirts and backup players. The increase in second-string players begs the question, why are so many athletes willing to devote so many hours each and every week to a sport that they're not guaranteed any return on investment from? To answer that question, we need to look down the depth chart. Fans of Nebraska football are mostly familiar with the starters, the athletes like Adrian Martinez, Muhammad Berry, J.D. Spielman, and Lamar Jackson. But with 154 players on the 2019 football roster and only a maximum of 11 players on the field at any one time, that leaves a lot of guys on the sidelines during each game and a lot of players who never see the field at all. It stands to reason that that would take quite a toll on a person. That's where people like Chad Doer come in.
My name is Dr. Chad Doer, and I'm an athletic psychologist here at the University of Nebraska. I'm just starting my second year here. My role in the athletic department is that I see individuals for performance enhancement and then also mental health services. And so the performance enhancement services are really helping the student athletes understand how they can perform at their best on demand when it matters most, and what are the thoughts, beliefs, ways to focus, the motivational components of all of that on how they achieve optimum performance. And then the other side of that is also the mental health aspect too, and us being able to treat any sort of thing that comes up when it comes to mental illness and anything that might just impair their functioning from the mental side.
Non-starters come in various forms, whether that might be a walk-on, a freshman redshirting their first year, or just a second string or backup player. 3 Husker athletes who fit into each of those categories one way or another make it clear that there are significant similarities in mindsets that are shared by most players who aren't on the top of the depth chart. William Pristup is a redshirt freshman who transferred to Nebraska from Michigan State ahead of the 2019 season. During his first year on the team, he served as the backup punter, but with the graduation of Isaac Armstrong, Pristup is set to move into a starter role in 2020. Matt Sichterman is a sophomore second-string right guard on the offensive line. He redshirted his first year in 2017 under then-head coach Mike Riley and appeared in 4 games as a redshirt freshman in 2018 before receiving playing time on special teams in every game and seeing action at right guard against Northern Illinois and Maryland in 2019. Noah Stefersky is a walk-on freshman offensive guard from York, Nebraska, who just finished his first season where he redshirted for the Huskers.
I think that sometimes individuals don't necessarily feel valued or appreciated in their roles, which then can be really difficult to embrace that role. You know, there's the ability for a coaching staff and a system to articulate this is your role. And then on the other side of that, there's also the acceptance of that role.
Right when I got here, I didn't believe I was going to start right away. I didn't even believe I was going to play this year until the NCAA ruling stated that since I didn't accept a scholarship at Michigan State, I was allowed to start right away. and I just went straight into fall camp like that.
When I first arrived, I came in as a tackle, and we had some old tackles at the time, some guys who had, a year or two left. So at the time when I came in, I was just prepared to play the tackle position. I came in and, with offensive linemen, you usually take that redshirt year just to develop your bodies. And so I was kind of just, planning to learn the scheme first year or so, and then, see what the coaches wanted from there.
It's a really big learning curve, so it's not very often you get someone that doesn't redshirt as a lineman and then wait 1 or 2 years, just because you have to be like a really, really special lineman the position has to be really needed for you to come in as a freshman and start. But it's just not very often. Almost every lineman coming out of high school needs to develop his hands, his footwork, his body type, just his knowledge of the game, really.
Sichterman remains one of the few players on Nebraska's football roster who were recruited by then head coach Mike Riley. Sichterman came here in 2017 and recalls what it was like to have to watch from the sidelines as the team struggled to a 4-8 season during Riley's final year as head coach at Nebraska.
It was definitely difficult. I was also going through some personal stuff kind of around that same time. My uncle was pretty sick, so it was a difficult time for me for sure. Kind of the stress with school and everything, kind of just balancing that your freshman year. But yeah, really, you have your teammates around you to support you. Other than that, everybody kind of doesn't know what's going to happen, hoping for the best in terms of the coaches that come in, and we got pretty lucky with the coaches that we got. All of the backups, and all of the starters, we all kind of do the same work throughout the week. So, we're all giving it 100% effort, and it is tough to see the team underperform from kind of what our expectations are. We went into this year expecting a lot of big things and, lost a lot of close games. And, it's tough sometimes when you want your shot to go in there and perform. And at points this year, I was thinking that I would, definitely want the opportunity to show off my skills, but I just really trust the coaches, and I think what they think is best for the team, I'll just roll with it and just keep working my hardest.
That was one sentiment that was shared between Sichterman, Stefersky, and Pristup, that the coaches currently in place at Nebraska are the ones to get the job done, and that the players completely trust the judgment of Frost and his staff.
I just saw what Frost did at UCF, and I watched him there the whole entire time during my senior year and junior year, and I was just hoping that we could do the same thing here in Nebraska.
The coaches that create that best, what I call like a motivational climate, and are able to help the athletes really connect with, here's why you're going through this, and here's what you can do to grow. They create hope. And I think with that hope and that prospect of, I can get better and I can get on the field, and it may take me a little bit, but I'm definitely able to get there, then that they're the people that can really take it one practice at a time and really kind of grow and strive, even though they felt discouraged at the start. And that's a really cool process when you're able to see that, but you have to meet the people where they're at in terms of helping them process the meaning behind the experience and what does it mean to experience adversity. Sometimes you have student athletes that were so successful in high school, this is the first time they've really experienced adversity performance-wise.
It's definitely difficult, especially coming from high school where you play 4 years straight, and in some cases, in some games, you're playing offense, defense, you're playing practically the whole game. So it's definitely difficult freshman year, or definitely just different not playing and just consistently training. It's definitely tough, not being the guy anymore, because everyone here is a really good athlete, and everyone here, there's a lot more competition than there was in high school. But so it's definitely difficult not contributing and being like the walking through the halls and being kind of like the talk of the town like you were in high school. But you just, like I said, just keep working, and that hopefully your time's going to come.
It's really, really important for, coaches and teammates and everybody to help them understand, okay, it's not about the adversity, but it's how you respond and react to the adversity. And if you're able to do that, then the kids are really able to do very powerful things. And so that's what you hope to be able to have out of everybody here.
They always tell us scout team's just as important as the starters because we're the ones that prepare them all week. And I mean, that's definitely true to a point. So every day I pretty much was just, I thought my job was just go give the first and second team the best look we can to try to get them as ready as for the certain team we were playing as we can. And while I'm doing that, just do my stuff better. So work on my footwork and work on everything and use these reps that I'm getting against starters in the Big Ten to get as good as I can be.
We usually just have this automatic response that comes up right away that a lot of times is outside of our conscious. It's just, this is how we respond. And that can be really helpful, but that can also be really unhelpful. And so a lot of times it's going after the fact and really helping them understand, okay, so this happened, and then what did you think? Or how did you make sense of that? And then really helping them evaluate, was that the most helpful way for you to think about it in that moment? And a lot of times they'll say yes or no. And then it's like, okay, so when you're experiencing this next time, like, how do you want to interpret this? And being able to help them understand, this is where I'm automatically going to go when, the heat is on and I'm feeling a lot of pressure. And then, okay, this is how I want to intentionally do it. And then with that intention, hopefully that way of reacting becomes automatic.
It's definitely difficult, especially early in the season. I was kind of expecting us to maybe handle some of the teams that we should have, and so definitely early on it was kind of like, okay, like, am I going to get my shot? Like, I need to prove myself early in the season so I can be in the rotation and things like that. But it's really just trusting the coaches. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. Whenever I would get down, I would just think I just got to keep working my hardest, and like, I'll earn the spot if I, show that I deserve it.
The biggest question that many people might wonder is, why are these athletes so willing to get up early for 5 a.m. practices, lift weights once or twice per day, go to team meetings, and in general devote hundreds of hours to a team without any promise of a scholarship, playing time, or a guaranteed future in the sport? For most of them, it can be a drag, but in the end, they just really love the game.
It's for sure a grind. It's hard sometimes to wake up in the morning, and sometimes you just wake up and you're like, and it's just another day and you just don't want to do it, but you just go out there and you got to grind. You show up to everything, you work as hard as you can, and at the end of the day, this is all just preparation for when you're going to get your chance. And so if you don't take this now you don't take this serious because you're not going to play, you're never going to play because you're never going to be prepared.
I'm doing it because I love it. I'm not going to lie. I remember as a kid, I wasn't as big as most kids. I was tall, but I couldn't run as fast. So one day my dad just took me to the field and just said, hey, kick this ball as much time as you want. And I did. And after a while, it became a usual thing. I loved it more and more each day. I want to make it my job. So I want to get to the next level, but I know there's going to be a lot more hours needed for getting there. Mm-hmm. So I got to help myself more than anything else, but at the same time, my team's more important. So if I help them, they help me in the process, and we both go farther. It's just something I love. Going out every single day, punting the ball, kicking the ball, I just like doing that.
I've played football ever since I can remember. My dad played at Drake, so he was a Division I football player back in the day. And so football's kind of always been a part of my life, and I definitely am passionate about it. Sometimes you're going through the tough work weeks and you kind of take it for granted, but I feel like, especially this season, I've just been trying to remind myself, football playing days are limited. I mean, it's kind of cliche, it's what everybody says, but it's definitely true. It can end at any moment, so I just try to take advantage of all the opportunities on the field.
Twos out there for Nebraska offensively. Miles Jones in motion. They fake the toss to him. Noah keeps it himself around the right side. Touchdown, Nebraska. Noah Medro in there from 3 yards out. The game from 35. 3 seconds left in regulation. We're tied at 10. Snap down, the kick is up, and the kick is good! Here's Lane! Huskers win it 13-10. They beat Northwestern and go to 4-2.
Yes!
Might get his number called here. 2nd and goal to 3. The number 2's out there for Nebraska offensively. Miles Jones in motion. They fake the toss to him. Noah keeps it himself around the right side. Touchdown, Nebraska. Noah Bedrow in there from 3 yards out. Marshall's red zone.
He's going to be a good player, let me tell you.
Two wide.
Peter Johnson might be the fastest guy on the team.
And off to Johnson. Stutter steps, gets inside the 15, fights his way
One
down.
thing Frost has repeatedly emphasized since his arrival is the idea of being a part of something bigger than yourself.
We're trying to preach team first. And anytime you're a part of something that's bigger than just yourself, it's special. And I want the kids to feel that.
For players who don't get to see the field much, if ever, that idea is one they hold on to tightly.
I think that's a very big part of our team, and I think it's just, at the end of the day, it's just doing what's best for your team. And if your coach tells you you're going to redshirt this year and you're going to be on scout team, you have to do that. And if you're not willing to do that because you think you're better than that, or you think that no, I want to compete, I want to go for a job now, that's just not the right mindset. It's not about me before we. That's not how you make a good team. That's not how you have a good atmosphere. That's not how you have a good locker room. Me before we, it just turns into a cancer in your locker room and can kill your team. I mean, so I think that's a really big part of it. And I think most of the guys on our team now are to the point where a lot of us, especially in our freshman class, a lot of us are winners. We won all of our careers in high school and we were really good. And I think we know kind of what it takes to win, and it takes the we before me mindset.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge part of it. It's also kind of cliche, but the brotherhoods you build are truly special. I mean, you're around these guys for 40 plus hours a week. You've been through camp, you've been through conditioning, lifting, so it's definitely plays a huge factor, is just having that support system around you, and you don't want to let your brothers down. So yeah, that's definitely plays a huge part in just coming to work every day and working your butt off, because you're not just working for yourself. It's not a selfish effort just coming in, oh, I'm not playing, like I need to go somewhere where I want to play. For me, it's I got to play for these coaches, I got to play for my brothers, because we've been through a lot together, and I feel like I owe it to them to just keep working hard and be able to step up to the opportunity when I get my shot.
Perhaps none of the 154 members on the Nebraska football roster understand the importance of being part of a team more than William Pristup, who transferred to Nebraska from Michigan State for precisely that reason.
This is hard to say because I've gone through the transfer portal. For me, it was knowing that they didn't want me there for Michigan State. They already had a guy lined up, and I was just there until he came. So at the point, it is as far as sticking a team. It's like it's a bond that you guys will never lose. It's part of something bigger, and that in this case, transfer portal is used when players are maybe fourth or third string. If you're first or second, that means you're gonna have an opportunity. You don't know when, you don't know where, but you got to give it all, no matter what, in practice, out of practice, and do an extra.
I think that most athletes on any team, anybody that's a part of a group, there's way more people involved than just the people that I think are getting the headlines. And I always tell individuals that come into my office that are discouraged and frustrated, that they may not be getting playing time or the attention that they feel like they deserve, or their walk-ons really struggling, is that you're making this group better and you are significantly contributing. And that might be from, helping everybody get better by pushing people to improve, by creating competition in that environment, by being positive, by being supportive. And in that, I think that there's so many life lessons of being able to really look at, okay, maybe I'm not getting like the attention and the glory, but I really matter and I'm contributing to something bigger than myself. And I think a lot of times people can feel really frustrated and discouraged and lose sight of that. And so it's really important in those situations to be able to really connect with, why am I doing this? What's my value? And then how do I want to make this group of people better to accomplish a common goal?
Committing so much time and effort to something without a guaranteed return on investment is something which might cause most people to have regrets farther down that path. But these athletes aren't most people. They have a desire for success and are willing to do whatever it takes to make themselves better.
I definitely don't have any regrets. I feel like I've grown a lot as a person and as a player. I didn't foresee, the coaching change and the, backup position that I've been in, but I think it's definitely helped me grow as a player and as a person, facing adversity just as a team overall. So I feel like I wouldn't change anything. Ideally it'd be easy to say like, oh, I wish I was just starting, but I think that the adversity has pushed me to just continue to elevate my game, and I think it's going to help me down the road.
I know what is expected of me, and I know what we're doing here, and I know it's something special, but I don't regret redshirting at all. I don't regret coming here at all. I think this is a great program. I think this is going to offer me the best opportunity to do what I want to do.
As football rosters continue to grow and the next class of backups, walk-ons, and redshirts commit to collegiate athletics, as a former redshirt and backup, Matt Sichterman knows exactly what to tell them.
I just definitely say, just stay the course, don't take any days for granted, and that's what I try to do. I try to just work my hardest, and no matter what, it's made me a better person, it's made me a better player, so that's all I would say to anybody incoming, just trust the people around you, use your resources here at Nebraska because we have so many, and just, just keep working. And for me, even, I gotta keep working, earn that spot, but I'm just gonna try to keep getting better every day.